So, I mean, it was one of the weirder phone calls I've ever received, and one of the last phone calls I've ever wanted to receive before a gig, let alone a record release show. You know, what do you remember about the accident? I mean, do you remember? I'll tell you what I remember. I was in the shower, and the phone call came, and I was naked, and my girlfriend, now my wife, handed me the phone, and said, "I think Scott totaled the van, but I'm not sure." He sounded a little hysterical, and I was like, "Give me that phone." And then
the highway, Google.
Yeah.
No, it's basically someone stopped. I had plenty of time. It was like it had to be a quarter of a mile up, right before Lincoln Ave or whatever, that exit. And then I see the car in front of me, which is an Escalade, this beautiful Escalade, and it kind of puts on its brake and does this. It kind of stops, so I know that something's up, like a stop. And then the minute I saw that, I slammed on my brakes and kept on going and kept on going, kept on skidding, and then rear-ended him. It wasn't.
Weren't you in an accident earlier that week too, like at your work, like backing into some car or something like that? What am I imagining that?
Same week. I don't think it was that week.
But there is precedent though, because we smashed up the van outside of Monticello in Charlottesville, Virginia, the summer prior. But it was the same van. I mean, that van could take a beating.
Yeah,
but a van has its limits.
Yeah, we had to. Remember, we got the axle kind of
the next day in Raleigh, I think. Yeah.
Chapel
Hill, yeah. So that van. But anyway, so the upshot of the whole thing was, I think personally speaking, I was more bummed because you were my ride into the gig that night, and I planned to get completely fucking hammered because you were going to be my ride to and fro. So then you were hopping into the flatbed with the tow truck driver, and I had to get in my Hyundai and drive myself down to the gig. And I remember getting to the gig, and Lisa, who used to manage the Khyber, she's like, "Boy, you look like you could need a drink." I said, "I could need 2 drinks, actually." So I had like a little tumbler of Jack Daniels and a Newcastle, I remember, because I was just like all frazzled. But then the greatest thing, and this is pre-video cameras, this is pre-everybody videotaping everything they see on the street, the flatbed pulls up in front of Old City, 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. For those of you watching at home, Old City on a Saturday night, even back then, was just the land of the asshole douchebag. It would make massholes look like old money types, man. And so we stopped traffic in the middle of Old City on a Saturday night. We were doing like a fireman carry, like all pulling the gear off
because the back door was smashed because basically there was more damage done to the van for the guy that ran into me. And then you couldn't open up the back door, so we're passing everything out the side.
Right.
I remember.
And everybody lent a hand.
Yeah.
Jay Lockwood.
Jay was the first one there.
Art de Furia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Art opened that show solo.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And then I remember also, and I'm not even going to name this person, but we were running behind with everything, and everything was it was a big night. Yes, the record release show, a couple of people from the Yep Rock were there and everything. And this guy that we know who has a habit of showing up early for shows so he doesn't have to pay, he staked out a spot where the merch was going to go. And once we finally
Did he have sleeves on?
He was not wearing sleeves, funny enough, as is his wont. And when we got the merch in, I said, "Excuse me, can you move? We have to." He said, "No, man, I'm sitting here." And I just about fucking lost it at that point. Like, on top of everything else, now I've got this. Let's not even put a name to him. I've got this person. He won't move. But we eventually sorted it out. But it's crazy. But it was a great show.
It was.
Yeah, it was a great show. Man.
I think this is all very fitting because obviously the last song on the record, Minivan Blues, is. What's that about, Scott?
That's about another accident.
Yeah, about drifting off after a gig and finding yourself.
After that,
the general wouldn't even insure you, would he? The general wouldn't even insure this guy, right?
You were on your way back home from practice or something.
It was up 322, so it was a show, and I thought it was a knob show or something. I don't know. I don't know where it was. I don't know where the show was.
But I do think the next day we realized when we were loading up that we didn't have any of the merch.
Yeah.
So we called the Khyber, and we got whoever bartender was working at 11 a.m. and said, "Can you look outside?" Because I thought it was like an electrical junction box just outside.
Right.
the
I remember this now. Yeah,
like I had a vague feeling of putting it down there,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. Maybe it's still there. Long shot, but I called the Kyber. Can you look outside, see if it's there? Here's what I'm pretty sure the guy did. Yeah, I'll take a look. Nope, don't see it. And so, in a panic, I think we just drove down there, and sure enough,
It was there.
It was there.
It was sitting
Sitting
outside
the Kyber.
Yep.
That's pretty good. And that was a few days later, though, because the gig was on a Saturday. We'd done the in-store at Tower the day before. The gig was on a Saturday. We were off on Sunday. We went there the next morning or the next afternoon to get the gear. And then I think we left for a tour on Tuesday, maybe. We started down in Durham or Raleigh, somewhere down there, I think.
So something remained on the street in Old City
For 2 days.
unstolen for 2 days.
It's our merch, so.
Yeah, it was, I don't think it was a mad rush. You know. So anyway, that was that.
I just remember also before the flatbed got to the gig. So the guy that hit me behind, he didn't have the guy that towed me. Said, "Oh, I can tow you too." So we had to drive all the way up to Oxford Circle, drop his car off.
Didn't you tell him we were in a hurry?
I said I
hello,
have to be
bigger
there.
lovers.
Just a second. It won't take that long.
WHPN.
And this guy had a bloody nose or something. He had it worse than anyone else.
I think everybody in Oxford Circle has a bloody nose. Yeah. So it's quite a night.
It was.
But again, we rose above it, you know. And I got to break out the Spicoli reference. You know, my old man's got an awesome set of tools.
Yeah,
It was a good show, though. You know, and
It was
everybody had a
good.
good time. I think we set the booze per capita record at the Kyber that night.
I was doing a shot.
Everybody was in the mood.
Everybody was
Just
drinking
Yeah.
that night. It was good. So, well, let's hope that doesn't happen again at the 10th anniversary
Yeah.
show. Why don't you take a train or something? And can you take
I've been very good since
Yeah,
then.
how
I haven't
many-
been to an accident.
But how many
since then.
vehicles did we go through? Because we had the station wagon initially.
Station
With
wagon.
the fender held on by the instrument
Yeah.
cable.
Yes.
But then yes, you've still
You know what
got
gripes my ass? You know what van
Yeah.
lasted the longest?
the
white
Fucking
Chevy van.
plumbing van with
Yeah.
no heat in it.
That I set up a folding chair in the back.
Yeah.
And I was the only one who'd sit in that thing.
that thing made it all like over, you know.
Anytime you go ride a gentle bend and see it.
But that thing was like sort of sucking wind going up 5, you know, like
Yep.
up Oregon into Washington and stuff. But that thing lasted though, man.
Oh,
you know?
it was the worst one to last, though. It's,
Yeah.
Well, fitting though, right? You know. But yeah, I'm trying to think. We did go through whatever. Did you donate that or sell it? Whatever happened to that?
We sold that for $300 or $400.
Not bad. I wonder where that van is now. You know,
It was a kid who was starting who was an independent contractor for Direct.
That's right. I remember you telling me that. Yeah, yeah.
And he was a nice guy and
Yeah.
everything. I gave him a record.
Wonder what he did with the record.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Never did get a thank you note.